Well, France has unveiled the details of a controversial pension reform plan, which has caused a nationwide strike that's now in its 7th day. Hoping to appease unions and workers, the government on Wednesday promised the overhaul wouldn't affect older workers, while it's raised the retirement age for full pensions. The reform will unite more than 40 separate pension plans into a universal points-based system. It'll be applied to those entering the job market for the first time in 2022, but it won't affect anyone born before 1975. While workers can still retire at the age of 62, they'll have to work until 64 if they want a full pension or the maximum number of points. Those working in dangerous conditions, such as firemen, soldiers and police officers, will still be able to retire earlier. And the minimum pension will be $1,100 per month for those who've worked a full career.
Nous ne voulons léser personne.
We don't want to hurt anyone. On the contrary, we want to protect the purchasing power of workers and the purchasing power of pensioners. Women will be the big winners of the universal system. Today, we know that women's pensions are lower, almost half of men's pensions. Who can accept it? Nobody. But it's lasted for a long time. It's improving over time, it's true, but very slowly.
Well, despite the government's best efforts to appease workers, many are still angry. Our correspondent, Elena Casas, spoke to some protesters in Paris and sent us this report.
The French government insists that one system for everyone would be fairer for those who lose out at the moment, like freelancers and women who take time out to have children. But these protesters insist they're not just defending the special privileges of those who get a particularly good deal at the moment. They say creating one system for everyone would mean reducing all pensions to the lowest common denominator and forcing all the French to work longer.
En tant qu'infirmière et en tant que citoyenne tout court.
As a nurse and as a citizen, I'd like to see the pension reform cancelled completely. We want something that takes into account how difficult our jobs are. Working to 64 is impossible for nurses.
Qui prennent en compte la pénibilité.
Avec notamment la suppression.
The so-called special rules were put in place after people had fought for them hard for years. They don't exist because of favoritism or to privilege one part of the population, but to compensate for low salaries in the public sector, like those we have as teachers.
We are fighting to keep the current system, which has been proven to work, which is the envy of the world, and which allows French pensioners to have a decent life. Poverty among pensioners in France is among the lowest in Europe, and indeed in the world.
For both the opposition and the government, this is about much more than pensions now. President Emmanuel Macron wants to show he can succeed where the last 4 French presidents have failed and force through a reform to the country's complex pension system, despite protests in the streets. For the unions and protesters here, it's an almost personal grudge against the president. They want a show of force to show that they can block his most important policy.